Good morning, everyone. My name is Janine, and this is my husband, Robert. Many of you know as Sky. We want to start by saying thank you for being here today. And today we gather here with heavy hearts to honor the life of Mikhail Thompson, known to many of us as Worl or World Great. To us, he was more than a friend. He was our family. Our dear friend Orda meant so much to so many people. His impact was undeniable, and his unwavering friendship touched all of us in profound ways. Robert, my husband, was first introduced to Orda in 2014 through a mutual friend and popular selector, some of you know as Penny Bling. And from that moment, he and Robert became inseparable, best friends. Orda was Sky's first friend in Canada, so you can imagine how much he meant to Sky. When I first met Orda, I saw a shy but kind person with a smile that lit up a room. I was so curious to know who was this new friend that was taking up all of my husband's time. Robert and I would plan a date night, and next thing you know, I would get a phone call. Jen, you know, send me invite Orda to dinner. And he came. The three of us would sit down and eat. Both Sky and Orda had one thing in common. They loved to entertain, and they both had business mindsets. They came together and decided they would keep parties, not just for profit, but also to contribute to the dancehall community in an impactful way. I remember the first party Orda kept, maybe had 15 people. The first party Sky kept, maybe even less, maybe 10. But guess what? It never stopped them from working at their craft and their network. And fast forward to months and even years later, they both became promotional giants, making huge waves and impacts across the community. I remember Sky and Orda sitting down in the kitchen, planning how they were going to get rich. They both love money. And then Orda came up with a brilliant idea. Rich Gang, he shouted out. This will be our name going forward. We're going to change the game. Orda was so creative. He always came up with event names. Rags to Riches, Champagne Campaign, King of the Dance Hall, just to name a few. He always had a vision for the designs, the flyers, how he's going to design the t-shirts, the hats, etc. As you know, he went on to create his popular clothing brand, today known as Top Jacko. Orda had a way of making you feel seen, valued, and cared for. His kindness and generosity knew no bounds. He was always present, not just in the big moments, but in the everyday ones too. We're gonna chill at home and watch the NBA Finals? Yep, Orda was there. He didn't even like basketball. He always cheered for the opposing team just to annoy us. He was at our wedding, our kids' birthdays, christenings. He was our first son's godfather. We had nights out, parties, lots of parties. Orda was there right by our sides, as you all know. He always had our backs. When he showed up to our home for gatherings, the first place he headed was for the kitchen. Jenny and Thomas, share my plate, please. Liquor rice, enough goat, and macaroni pie, please and thanks. My grandmother, may she rest peacefully, she used to ask, where Old Albany? That was the name she used to call him. If he was late to show up. If he wasn't present amongst our family gatherings, something must be wrong. He loved good food, as you know, good movies and good music, but more than that, he loved the people that he shared those experiences with. If you needed a restaurant or movie suggestion, he'd be the first person we would call, and he wouldn't hesitate to give us a list, along with his honest opinions. He was woven into the fabric of our lives. Always showing up, always giving, especially to our children who adored him and the gifts that he would always bring. Speaking of music, one thing people may not have expected about Orda is that he could actually really dance. Like, he had a rhythm, he had moves, and he could light up a dance floor. Even though he was shy when he was ready to dance, he really put the moves on. He also loved being the one to set the vibe at our family gatherings. Whether it was a birthday party, our own celebrations, Orlando would take over as the DJ, making sure the music was just right. He could play for the young, the old, and the in-between, it didn't matter. He was a true entertainer, bringing joy to wherever he went and making sure everyone was having a great time. One moment I remember keenly speaks volumes about the kind of friend that Mikhail was. It was Robert's birthday. He wasn't feeling well. He didn't want to celebrate. He didn't want to see anyone. Just wanted the day to pass quietly. I told Orlando, don't bother, but it wasn't in his nature. A few hours later, the doorbell rang. I saw his shadow through the glass. There is no mistaking it, given his bigger frame. And I said, Orlando is here. And sure enough, he stood at the door holding bottles of champagne and a gift. He told me, I don't need to come in and party, Jem, but I need to make sure Sky good and knows that he's being thought about today on his strong. That was who he was, someone who showed up, no matter what. And of course, that night we invited him in. What started as a day my husband wanted to ignore turned into a night of laughter, friendship, and appreciation. Another one of Robert's birthdays came by. He loved celebrating birthdays, can you tell? This time he decided he was going to keep a surprise party at his house. I think a lot of people saw that surprise party and was amazed at how much effort that he put into that party. That was a night to remember. One year, my younger sister came from England, her first time ever coming to Canada on her own. I told Worl I need to plan some things for her to do so that she'll enjoy herself here. Right away, he said, come, I'm going to take you guys to Niagara Falls. That was the type of person he was. He was just so thoughtful. I remember we went into a haunted house on Lundy's Lane. It was my sister, Katie Ann, and I, alongside Orlando. Can you imagine he pushed us into the haunted house first, before him? Because he was afraid. 3 tiny slim women and big Orlando, just the 4 of us. Orlando was humble, never one to let life's troubles weigh him down, or he wouldn't let it show on the outside, even if that was the case. He taught us something about patience, about kindness, about what it truly means to be a friend. He used to always say, leave them to God, and shrug his shoulders whenever anyone tried to bring him down. He was actually very forgiving, and we actually admired that. He looked out for those he cared about, and he did it without expecting anything in return. Losing Orlando is a heartbreak we never imagined. But knowing him was a gift that we will always cherish. His laughter, his presence, his unwavering friendship, those things will never fade. I can't believe they took you from us, our brother. Rest in peace, Rolada. You will always be loved, always be missed, and always be remembered. Fly high, top track, fly high, heart to love.
Robert, for your reflection at this time.